build a bulkhead and maybe a custom light band within inside that bulkhead. And then if we've got time, we'll have a look at a first test render of the kitchen. So let's get started. What I'm planning on doing is clicking on this wall over here, and if I double click on it, as you know, it's going to move. This wall's going to be in the way, so I'll right click, and what I can do is I can lower that wall so I can see the wall that I want to work on. And I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to build our own unit here with an oven, just to show you how you can do it. So what we do is when we click on that wall, we can go up to tools, and where our configurator is, we don't need to worry about that. We've already got that. If we go back to, let's have a look here, let's go to edit. So under edit, we've got cabinet builder, which is sitting over here. So with this wall highlighted, you have to highlight the wall for the builder to open, otherwise it doesn't allow you to use the builder. So I'm going to click on cabinet builder, I'm going to go to kitchens, and I'm going to go to cabinet with appliances, or I could use this one over here, which is a cabinet for appliances with a kick plate. I actually want it without the kick plate because I'm going to create my own. So I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to say OK. What happens now is it's going to open up a new window, a new part of the program, and this is going to be our cabinet builder. Now from what you can see on this side, you can already see the cabinets that are already on that wall. So I'm going to bring this cabinet down, and I can see that the size is different, so I can bring it down to the 100, and I know that I've got to bring this up. So the easiest way to do it is where I've got my height here, if I make that for instance 2100, I can see now that it all matches perfectly. Okay. The total width of this unit is 700. I'm actually going to make this a 600. Unit, and I can now pull that up against it like that. Or what I can do is I can just move it further away, because this panel here I'm going to move onto this side when I'm finished anyway and move this along. So we can do that once we're back in our 3D. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this cabinet now to accept maybe some drawers at the bottom, and then we'll put in a oven, and then maybe a nice cupboard at the top. So the way to do that is we first have to go to divisions or divides up here, and what we're going to do is we have to click inside the cabinet that we're working on, so it knows where we're going to attach the panels that we want to create, or shelves or structures. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to horizontal. I'm going to go to a fixed shelf, and if you look, when I click on these, you'll see that the pictures will give us different information. So when I go to fixed shelf, I'm going to go for this one over here, and I'm going to drag that literally into the cupboard like that. And I'm going to take another one. If I click over here, I'm going to take another one, I'm going to drag another one in just like that. Okay, so now what I can do is by clicking on this shelf that I've just placed, it's going to give me some measurements, so I can see what the measurements are from the base part of the carcass or the cupboard up to the height of where that first section is. So I want this to be about 700 off the floor or off the base of the cabinet. So I'm going to say 700. And then what I want to do is my oven is going to be sitting in here, and on my oven I'm going to make that 600. But what you'll see, what it's done, it's moved this one and then shaken this one. So what I want to do is I want to come back here. I'm going to make this 700. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to click on this one, and you can see that I need 134 to make this one go down. So if I say plus 134, I've now got an exact 600 space here with a top cupboard. So what I'm going to do now is I want to put 2 shelves in this top cupboard, and the bottom here I'm not going to put any shelves in, I'm going to actually put some drawers in. So the way to do that is I'm going to click, and you'll see it'll highlight that area. I can go up here to where it says multiple. I'm going to click on the horizontal. So I'm going to click here with my left mouse button. Again, I'm going to use a fixed shelf, and I'm going to choose this one. So I'm going to press my left mouse button and I'm going to drag it over. That's if I wanted to place it, but I don't, because I'm going to be using the multiple tool. So you don't need to drag when you're using the multiple. So while this is highlighted, it's going to understand if I go horizontal, it knows now whatever I put in here, it's going to place inside this highlighted area. So I want to put make two spaces in there. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, going to click on it, and you'll see that it's now created two separate little shelves with a shelf in the middle. So I've got two like boxes inside. I've got a space for where my oven is going to go, and down here I'm going to put in some drawers. So the way to do the drawers, again, click to highlight that area. We're going to come over to drawers. Now under drawers we've got a few options. I've got the drawers with the different box styles here. So by going over it, you'll see what it's going to give us, the metallic, whatever. I'm going to click on the standard one. I can use tall drawers if I want, and I can use the bloom type drawers as well. So for now I'm just going to use standard drawers, and I'm going to use a straight cupboard door on the front. Now here I actually want 3 drawers. So instead of saying 4, I'm going to go down to 3, and with that highlighted, I'm just going to press insert. So by holding that button down, pressing insert, it's already created my drawers for me. I don't have to do anything else. And now what I want to do is I want to highlight the area where I want to put my oven. I can come over here to the internals. I'm just going to pull this one in fast for now so we can see it. I'm now going to go to doors, because obviously my drawers have got fronts on, but I need to put doors or something on this front unless I'm leaving them as open shelves. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to click over here, I'm going to go to doors, and I've got my door options. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to hold my control button down and I'm going to click. So I'm highlighting both because I want my door to go over both of those. Now, do I want both doors, or do I just want one whole door on there? I think one whole door will work better. I could do a lift hinge, I could do those, but I'm just going to put one door on there. And what I can do is I can invert it. So let's say, for instance, I'm going for a straight door, and I say insert. Where this angle is, it's going to put my hinges on that side. If I don't want it on that side, what I can do is I can delete this. So while that's highlighted, I can undo. Okay, I can come back to the whole door. So I'm going to, again, with my control button pressed, so I'm selecting the 2 areas. I'm going to use the whole door. I'm going to use straight, but I'm now going to use the invert button. So insert. It's now going to have the hinges on the left hand side, which is where I want them. Once I've done that and I'm finished, I can come down here to the bottom, and by pressing my left mouse button, I'm going to say apply. What it's done now is it's actually built this cupboard, including the cutting list side of it and everything. It's ready for us to now use. So I can go to OK, and you'll see that it's imported that unit directly in. So you can see how it's done it, and I can now bring it across and just butt it up if I wanted to, or I can move it away. This particular one here, I want to copy, so I'm going to right click, copy, and then this one I'm actually going to delete. Okay, I'm going to put this one right up against it like that, and over here where I've made the copy, I'm going to say paste, and I can bring this panel down and butt it up. Okay. Now if I'm not happy with this, I can go in and edit it again. So on here I can go to my tools, so open my tools on the side. With this one selected, I can still go to my models, and I go to selection tool, and it's going to give me the information on this cupboard anyway. So I can actually choose the same as what these are. So if I click on this one, for instance, I can change this to a shaker groove door. I can change the color. So let's do that. Let's go on here. Let's go here, and I'm going to make it a shaker groove. So I'm going to come down here. V-groove. I'm going to do that. Apply. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's already created that for me. My shelves at the bottom, if I come down here, the fronts, I want to make those shaker as well. So I can come down here. I'm looking for the V-groove. Apply and say OK. And you'll see that it's already placed them there for me. Okay. At the moment I haven't got any handles on there, and that's down here. I can click on here at the bottom, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the same handles, bar handles. I'm going to say show all because it popped over onto my other screen. So I'm going to go to bar handle, and I think we used 18 if I remember right, like that. Apply and OK. And you'll see this one at the top here, the handle has gone to the top. I don't want it at the top, I want it down towards the bottom. So what I can do is I can double click on that door, I can go to position, and I can bring that handle down to where I want it. I want it over there, and I've now got everything set up. I'm not really happy with the oven that we put in, so we could actually change this. So the beauty with this is I could just double click on the oven itself, and I can say delete, and I can click on the surround here, and I can delete it, and it's just going to give me the box to where I want to put my oven. Okay. Also, what I'm a little bit concerned about is these cupboards here are probably 600 deep. 580. Okay, so let's have a look at this one, and this one is only 550. So I'm going to make that also 580. And you'll see what happens because I'm doing it like this. It's allowed me to make the changes, even though this is a cupboard that we've built. It allows us to make changes even though it's from the cabinet builder. Some items in the cabinet builder, if you try and change, it might not allow you, so you just have to right click on it again, and you can come down and say edit closet, and it takes you back into the builder if you want to change door shapes and door styles in the sense of the positioning of the doors. So you can make changes that way. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to come down here, I'm going to click on my kick plate, and I'm literally just going to drag it across and make it fit underneath like that. So my kick plate is done. So we've added that unit. Now let's see, can we put a different oven in there? So what I can do is I can come down to my catalogs. I can go to different areas. So let's go, I'm going to go to down here. We can have a look, for instance, under kitchen maybe. Let's have a look and see if we've got anything in home appliances. Sorry, home appliances, there we are. And here's some built-in ovens and things like that. So I could take a built-in oven like this, and I'm going to click on it again. I want to actually place it. That's better. And you'll see that I've got quite a bit of different sizes here now. So I can still change the size of this oven because this is from the decor catalog. I can see already that the width of that is too big. I want that 600. Okay. The height of it, remember we made it 600, so I want to make that 600. And I want the depth to be 560. Okay. And if I look over here now, I know I've got a space of 274, so I can literally come to the move tool, come over here and type in 274, and I'm going to just move it, and I can just double check if it's actually fitting in. I've got 16 mil, so I'm going to do another 16 mil this side. fine. Looks exactly where I wanted. I think it was 580 that I need to make it. Yeah, 580. Let's make this 580. There we go. And now I need to bring this out. I didn't realize that the oven had changed. So it's fine, we can just bring this out. It lines up. And there we go. Because I've changed the cupboard again, I must just double check and change my kick plate. And there we go. Now the beauty with this is I've now created that and I'm happy with that. So what I can do, I can come along to this unit that we've created. I'm going to click on the unit itself, and then with my control button I'm going to click on the stove as well, or the oven, because we've actually put that in ourselves, so it's a separate component to the actual cupboard itself. And now what I'm going to do is, if I right click, I can add this to a favorite. So it allows me to come down here and say favorite. I can put in here, let's call this oven unit 3 drawer. Maybe I should just do it like that. 3 drawer slash, we won't use that, doesn't like that, plus door. Okay, I'm going to now copy. I'm going to put that down here, paste, and I can just literally paste the name in like that. I'm going to say forward. It's going to bring me in here. You move the same way as you do in your 3D design with your mouse. So the scroller push down will allow you to move it, pan it, and again with your right button you can tilt, change it to the direction that you want, and then you can use your scroller to zoom in and out. So let's just turn it a little bit more like that so I can see that it's like a thumbnail. I'm going to then go forward, and inside here you can create as many new folders. So if I click on here, I can create a folder and put it in, and that's where it's going to build or store your cupboard. So you'll see I've got quite a few that I've built over the time. Got some different ones here that I've got set up. So you can see I've got quite a few there as well. So I've got one there called oven units. So I've got a tall oven unit there already, but I'm just going to click on oven unit and I'm going to say finish. And what will happen now is under my catalog, if I come, and you'll see if I come down here, once you create a favorite folder, or you save something to your favorite, you actually are going to get it into your list. It automatically comes to your list, so you can click on your favorite and you'll see in here I've got a load that I've already created of all my different folders and things. Now that one that we've just done, I can come down, I know it was in tall units. If I go tall unit, these are the different ones that I've created. So you can actually come and have a look and you can say, oh okay, it's this one or it's that one that you want to actually place into your I've got some different ones here. You'll see I've got some unit tests. I've got a range of different ones that are in here. So from here I can go to, for instance, oven unit, and you can have a look. There it is. That's the one that we've just added, and it's sitting here now available for me to use. Now the beauty with this, let's just make this a bit smaller. I can take this and I can literally just drag it and place it in, and it brings it automatically in as we've got it to the correct size, 580, 210, 600, and there's my unit that I've created directly inside Promob. Now I can build whatever I want and save them, and then I can reuse them at any time that I want. So what we're going to do is just press delete, and let's move that. Okay, so now we've got our oven unit in. We're going to move over, and I'm going to do some like splashbacks. So what I can do is I can obviously put in an automatic splashback. So again, I can go to my automation over here. I can go to this second tab, and down here under kitchen I can come down, and where it says tops, you'll see I've got different ones. I've got Backsplash for tops. If I click on that and I say insert, what it's going to do is it's going to automatically assume where I want my backsplashes to go. Now with the automatic one, it sort of calculates where the back of the cupboards are. So at the moment, this one I know is going to be moved further down because it assumes that we want it all the way out to here, which we don't, which is fine. It's not a problem. We can manually now go in and edit those. So normally what I do is I'll click on it, and you can see here I can literally click on the plus button, and by moving it I can decide where I want it to go. If it's in a situation where double click on it again, and you can click and you can just pull it out to where you want it. Okay, and I can click it from this side and I can just pull that through to the corner. Okay, I'm now going to come across to this one, and this whole panel I want to just move the whole thing down. Now when you get to an area like this where there's a join, it's going to be difficult for it to move. Okay, because what it's done is it's moved everything. So if I go back to undo, and because now I'm editing this, I'll come back and change this top. So what I want to do is with this one, I want to actually take it and I want to just move this one by itself. I don't want to click, because what I did was I clicked on both, so it took this one out, which we'll fix in a minute. It's not a problem. This one I'm going to take and I'm going to pull it in to the edge of that wall there, which is fine. That's exactly where I want it. This one here I'm going to edit, and by editing I'm going to come back into where we've done this before. I'm just going to click and drag it so that it matches. Just want to make sure that this is dead straight. I can zoom out and just see if it looks right. Okay, that's perfect. And now what's happened is on this side I've got another top here, or a splashback. I actually don't want it. I'm going to actually double click on this one, and make sure you double click on it so that you're not selecting the worktop as well, otherwise you're going to remove the worktop. And what we're going to do here is we're going to remove that. Okay, so I don't have one there anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to manually create a worktop, a splashback, sorry, on here, on this back wall. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up to geometry, and I'm just going to take this square build rectangle. I'm going to click on it, and like before I'm going to right click on the wall. It will turn yellow. That's where I actually want to draw the block. So I'm going to put a block in here. Doesn't really matter what the size is. Okay, press M on my keyboard so I get my select tool. Okay, and with this block I'm just going to go in, and where it says 150, that's the height, that's going to be the thickness. I only want that to be 4 millimeters. Okay, I'm now going to right click on this and I'm going to say edit. Yeah, this one. Okay, when this comes up, it's going to come up like this. Now the beauty is I can see where those cupboards and where my extractor and everything is. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull this down so it's onto the worktop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to add a few extra nodes for what I want. like that. Okay, I'm going to go back to my select tool, and what I'm going to do is I want it to be up against that cupboard, up to where that worktop is. I'm going to pull this one up so it's nice and straight there like that. I'm going to pull this one here. Okay, and again you can zoom in so you can see exactly where you want it to be. And do it like that. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to pull it all the way to the edge here. Okay, I'm going to do the same on this side to marry it up to this cupboard that's over here. So I'm going to take this one and this one. Okay, when I say OK, it's going to have built, if I click on here, it's going to have built that shape for me that I want to use as a splashback. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to catalog, I'm going to go to material. Now what type of material could we put on here? So let's have a think. Let's go down to, maybe I want to put a nice tile. Maybe something like this. I can take it and just drag it onto it, and it'll place the tile for me. Now that looks nice, but that tile is quite big. So what I can do is, while that's still selected, I can come across to the right hand side to where it says materials, and I can come down here and I can change the scale of those. So let's make that maybe 600. Okay, and we could make that 400. And you'll see it's changed the pattern and the style that I'm looking at. And down here, if you remember under materials, I can click down here and I can change what type of material that I want on there. So I don't want it really high gloss, maybe a semi-gloss would be nice. So I'll apply a semi-gloss to that tile. Okay, so now what we've got is, we've now got a little splashback, we've got all that done there. Okay, I'm going to click on this wall to bring it back up. And now what I want to do is, let's make a like a bulkhead in the ceiling up here. So the way to do that is, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I want to actually make it virtually the same shape as this whole unit, not just this top. I'm going to actually make it similar to the shape that we've got here. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to go to the trigonometry tool over here. I'm now going to right click on the top, so the top turns yellow. I'm going to take my tool, I'm going to draw this all the way along like that. Like that. I'm going to pull it out. So it's going to be about like that. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to press M on my keyboard, so I go back to my select tool. And at the moment I'm not too bothered, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this out a little bit. I'm going to make it slightly bigger like that. Okay. Now what I want to do with this, let's make that 200 thick. Make it 250 thick. Okay. So what we're going to do is, if I click on the wall, I know that my wall is 2.6. Okay. So what I could do is, I can just come over here and say 2,600 and enter. And what's going to happen is, that's now going to be sitting at the same height as what these walls are. But now I want to bring it down. So what I'm going to say is minus 250. Okay. So now I've got a bulkhead that I've created inside. Now what I could do here is, if I right click and I go to edit, you'll see now that I can actually see exactly where everything is, and I'm happy with that. Okay, but what you'll see is, I can come up here and I can take that chamfer and I can marry it So my bulkhead is an exact copy of what I've got below it. Okay? Like that. And what we're going to do is, just for the argument's sake of this, I'm going to take my color tool and I'm going to click on, and I'm just going to make that whole thing that sort of color, just so that we can make it look like that. And I'm going to press my M tool, press M, and I go back. Okay. And now let's say I wanted to make a custom light inside this. Okay, there's a little bit of a trick on how you could do it. So what I'm going to do is, on the top here, again, I'm going to take a rectangular tool like this. I'm going to right click so it turns yellow, and I'm going to draw a box. Okay, like this. And what I want to do is, on this, I'm literally going to make that 2 millimeters. Okay. And now what I want to do is, I want to make this almost the size of that. Now I can make that one whole big light, which I think will look a little bit silly. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a little bit of a play around with this. I'm going to right click and we're going to go to edit. And now what I want to do is, on this edit, I'm going to start playing around a little bit with it. So first thing I do, I want to put in a couple of extra ones like this. And let's see how we can start playing around. Let's have a look. So if I pull this down like that, I'll leave that one there. Let's pull this one. So if I pull it down something like this, and I'm just going to make like a strip belt light that goes around. Okay, so what I can do is I can come down here, say plus, let's put a couple of extras in. I can always remove them if I don't need them. I'm going to pull this one down. We could probably leave that one there. I'm going to pull this one down to about there. Pull this one back. Like that. And then what I could do is I could just leave like a shape like that. Now what I couldn't also do is I can obviously add more. So I could actually add a couple of others and put another light in across here. Or I could just draw another one in here to make it easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to say OK. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to just going to draw another one. There, across to there. Okay, press the M. Click on here and we're going to make this one 2 millimeters. Okay, and now I can go back in and obviously edit this one as well. And all I'm going to do here is I just want it to marry up. So if I click on, okay, not that one. I just want it literally to click to marry up. Like that. And I can make sure that that one looks right. Okay, this one here, I'm going to pull out till it matches, like that. And now I know that this one wasn't lined up properly. So we can line that one up. Okay, and now this is too wide, so I'm just going to bring it in a little bit more. And what's going to happen now is I've got like a bead of light that runs all the way around. Okay. What I can do with this, I can click on it, and while it's selected, if I go to materials and I come down here, The second one up here, I can give it a light source. I can make it look like a light. So if I say standard, or I can go here, light source, or I can have LED, or I can have a light source. So let's do it as a LED. I'm going to say standard, apply, and I'm going to do the same with this one over here. LED, standard, apply. Now what happens with this now, we know that this is 2 millimeters above our 250. So what we want to do is we want to move this. So if we click on it, I want to move this down. So what I can do is, if I come over here, it's a 2.6, it's right at the top. I can say minus 2.6, so I could minus it 250 because that's the height, but I want it minus 252. And that should give us it right on the edge there. So this one as well. Minus 252. Enter. So I'm going to have a light there. Now the beauty with this is if I come to my tools and I go to my lighting, you're going to see that you don't really notice that there's any lighting there because we've already chosen the light. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this light, which is our central light, and I'm actually going to get rid of it. I don't want it in my kitchen. And I'm going to come across here where it says intensity, and I'm going to make it 0. Okay. So the next thing that we want to do, we've done the bulkheads, we've done a custom light build, we're going to do just the first type of render, just to see what it's going to look like, give us a feel of what we're going to do. So one of the things that you need to do is we obviously need to put a ceiling in. So I like to do that. So I'm going to come up here, we can come to edit, we can come to a build ceiling, and I'm just literally going to click it in and you'll see it's automatically placed it for me. The other thing that I think I should do is if I close this wall off, we haven't really got a lot of light or anything coming in through this wall over here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to catalog and I'm going to go to decor. Where are we? Sorry, I didn't want materials, I want models, and I need to come to decor. There we are. And I want to come down to windows and doors. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 2 sliding doors in there just so we've got a bit of extra light coming through. So what we can do is I'm going to go to doors. Doors, and I want to go to sliding doors. And let's put one in that's going to have a little bit of a feel to it. Let's put something like that in. I'm just going to drop it down like that, and let's put another one in. So I got a catalog, and let's put another one in on this side. Something like that. Okay, so now I want to do a test render. So the way to do that is, if I go up to tools, I've got this dynamic eye. If I click on the dynamic eye, it's going to bring me up this little icon system over here, and this is going to let us see, and I can make this bigger, and just put it a bit bigger if you want. This is going to give us what the viewpoint is for when we're going to do a render. So on the right hand side here, these little lines at the bottom, that means that's your floor, and this one here is your ceiling. So the first thing I'm going to do is just bring my eye down so it's inside between the floor and the ceiling. And over here, this one is the direction that you want to be looking at. So if we want to pull it over to this way, it's going to change the direction. And then the eye, I can move around, and with these blue, I can just narrow it down, and I can bring this obviously straight in like that if I want to. Okay, but maybe what I want to do is I actually want it like it is now. I want it out. I want this a bit of a wider scope, and I can take this red line and bring it past. Okay, bring it down a little bit. So now I can get a feel of what I'm going to see when I render. Okay, something like that. All right, and I can save this. I can come over here and I can say 1, save. Now maybe I want another render, but I want to do it from this angle over here, and I want to pull this down this way, so I'm getting a view, maybe a viewpoint out here, something like that. I'm just going to bring this in a little bit so I don't see any of the walls, like that, move it around. And maybe I want to have a viewpoint like that as well. I can come over here where I've got 1, I can make that 2, enter. Now I can literally move between the 2 views. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm just going to minimize over here. We might need to just move this a little bit, like this, to give us the sort of view that we're looking for. If I come over here to where it says render, I can say show high render area. So where that is highlighted now, that's what I'm going to see in my render. So if I want to get a bit more of that cupboard, I can move it like that. I can get a feel of what I'm going to see. Okay. Now if I'm going to do a render here, I can come down, I can go to my render settings. Okay. I've got a different range of different renders of what I can set up as. So at the moment on this one we're just doing a test render. If I click on this, you'll see in a minute this box is going to go smaller. Over here we've got our range of different renders. I just leave it on professional. It gives me a lot more scope, and I tend to start with either 400. I usually start like this. I could go to custom. Under custom I can go to midday for instance, and it sets things up for me. But I found if I do mine and I set mine up like this, it's normally a good starting point. Down here I can change the color of the sky, the horizon, whatever I want. I've already brought in a picture, so use background. You can load in any image that you want. So wherever you've got windows or openings, you're going to see this image come through into those windows and openings. And on this side over here I can now choose which direction I want the sun. So I'm going to have the sun coming through those sliding doors that way. We can just change the altitude of the sun, what height it's going to come in at. So let's make it a bit lower. Over here I can use a watermark, I can put a logo in, I can tell it where I want the logo, so every render will have a watermark. Now if I say OK, you'll see that this has gone smaller because I'm using a smaller render area. But now I actually want to go ahead and render, so I can come down here, go back to where we were, and I can just press render. Now what it's doing down at the bottom over here, stage 5 of 5, that's sending it up into the cloud. And it's starting the render. And you can see already, it's already starting to render through. You can see the effects that it's giving me. And there it is there. Let's make this a bit bigger. So again, this is literally just a very low res, small, well, not necessarily low res, but it's giving me the idea of what the color and everything is going to be. And already I can see I need to change a little bit. Maybe that fridge is going to be too shiny, it's going to look ridiculous. This as well, really high end shiny, so I can go in and I can change that. And I can come down here and I can save and I can do things. I'm just going to show you while we're on, I know it's getting long again, I'm just going to show you as it is now. I'm going to change and I'm going to use an AI render. I'm going to give it a, let's see if it'll let us move that up. So it's going to increase the size of the image. Remember, this is still on a very small one. I didn't use the big one, and I'm just going to say generate. It's going to pop up and say, I've got so many credits left. Are you sure you want to proceed? It's telling me I'm going to use 1 credit. I'm going to say yes. It's uploading the image now to the cloud again, and then it'll start doing the AI render. In part 5, we'll actually go more into the rendering and setting up and things like that. So if I make this a bit bigger, you're going to see the difference. For instance, this is my standard render. This is my AI render, where it's picking up the different finishes. It's picking up the sheen. So if I make this a bit bigger, you'll be able to see. You can see the finishes here, how clear it is. It's made it a lot clearer, the handles are clearer. So the difference, even your leathers, it's a lot different to the standard sort of render. It sharpens everything up, makes it look really, really nice. But again, this, I haven't really gone in and manipulated everything yet. We'll do that in the next one. So I hope this will get you going and sort of playing around a little bit more with it. I'm just going to turn off that block like that so that we can save this. Remember to always save once you've done something, even though it has an automatic save function, and we'll go through that later as well when we maybe do the costings and things. And then we'll also do working drawings and things like that, and eventually I will do a cut program by the side of it as well. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope you find these videos helpful.